Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Actually, I don't want to be a part of it at all. Fuck the collapsing United States. Hey, everybody! It's Caleb Jones. And it's the Alpha Male 2.0 podcast. What's happening? What's up? What's going on? So today I'm going to talk to my fellow old men, you older guys. Most of my content and certainly most of my audience based on the analytic numbers that I look at are younger guys. Guys between the ages of 25 and 35 represent the largest plurality of my audience. And so I have a lot of content for you guys, obviously. As a matter of fact, most of my content can be applied directly to you guys, you younger guys. But there's a chunk of you, a decent hunk of you who are over 35, late 30s, 40s, 50s, a few of you in your 60s and 70s. And I want to talk to you guys today because I'm going to address a recurring question / email / topic that you guys bring to my attention. And it is a topic that I know pretty well because it's something that happened to me. And that is the topic of, hey, Caleb, how do you handle it emotionally and logistically when you are an older guy? And again, when I say older man, I mean over the age of 35. When you're an older guy and you run into a big problem in your life, a big downturn, usually that is either a divorce or a loss of a big job or a loss of a big business or a combination of those things. And you feel like you have to start all over again at an older age now. So now you're 42, 45, 38, 56, and you got to start all over again. Another example is maybe you had a lot of money and you lost all of your money or most of your money in a bad investment. I've certainly seen guys do that, and things like real estate today and cryptocurrency and shit like that, where they very stupidly put all their eggs in one basket and they don't pay attention to that basket, or it's a basket they don't understand well and they lose it all. So that'd be another example of an upset that would happen as an older man, forcing you to start all over again. How do you handle that? And a corollary question is, I've gotten this from some of you, how do you handle the feelings of seeing guys who are your age, your peers, men who are older men like you, who are way beyond where you are because they didn't have to start over? It was just a steady upstream for these guys. And so maybe you're, 43 years old and you get a divorce, you lose half your money and your income drops for whatever reason. And now you're comparing yourself to other guys in their mid 40s who are doing pretty damn well. Maybe they're married and have good marriages or tolerable marriages, or maybe they're even better, they're single and never got married and never had kids. So they're rolling in the dough. I've got friends like that, you guys in their 40s who never got married, never had kids, and these guys have just oodles of cash because they never incurred these expenses. How do you handle it when you compare yourself to those men? The feelings of inadequacy that you have to start over again. So, quick review of my scenario many years ago. I think a lot of you already know this. Some of you probably don't. I found myself divorced at age 35. I went from zero to a six-figure income by the time I was 27. I got very stupidly, because I was young and a beta male and I didn't know any better, I got married when I was 25, immediately had 2 kids. I was married an older woman. She was 6 years older than me. The marriage lasted 9 years and I was divorced at 35. And that was 2007. And it was not a horribly expensive divorce, but it cost me a pretty penny. It definitely cost me a hunk of money. I had to pay child support for kids, plus I had to pay alimony payments, which I later paid off in a lump sum. And it was a decent amount of money. Now, it didn't destroy me financially. I didn't get divorced, raped, or any of that stuff. But it cost me a decent hunk of money. And it was rough to go through. It was not fun. Getting divorced is not fun. And for the first few months, I did not have a good time. After 3 months, I was as happy as I'd ever been in my entire life up until that point, but that's a topic for another time. Getting divorced is a really, really good idea for most men. But anyway, so as I was dealing with this divorce and the lifestyle chaos of this divorce and the financial chaos of this divorce, My businesses suffered. My investments obviously suffered. My income suffered. Everything suffered during that time. And as I was dealing with this, and it took me about 2.5 years to get divorced, it was all my fault. It's because I dragged my feet and just didn't focus on it like I should have, which was a big mistake I made back then. As I was going through this, 2008 rolled around, and you all know what happened in 2008, don't you? 2008 is the big worldwide global financial crisis. And so when 2008 hit, I think the month was October of 2008, I think. This is a long time ago now, but I think it was October. I instantly lost 60% of my income. Very big clients I've been working with for many years suddenly vanished because of the financial crisis. And so now I'm dealing with not only a divorce and that financial chaos, but I've just lost 60% of my income. So in that respect, I had to start over in my mid-30s. So I've been through this. So I had to start over both financially and in my relationship life. Now, in my case, it was a little different because I had awakened a few years earlier when I was about 33 years old. I had discovered my mission, discovered my vision, discovered my long-term objectives. I finally found the type of man I wanted to be, and I got excited about being that man, and the divorce was actually a part of that. The part of that plan, I realized that the man I really, truly was not a man locked into a stupid monogamous relationship like a fucking beta. He was an alpha male 2.0. I didn't have that terminology back then, but I had this lifestyle designed. So in that respect, it was kind of a good thing. And so even though I was going through a lot of problems, I was kind of motivated and kind of excited because finally I was free. And that's the first thing I would give you guys who've been recently divorced. When you get divorced, you are now free. I know it feels terrible. I know it feels awful. I know you're mad. I know it's not fair in many respects. I understand all those feelings. Trust me. I went through all those feelings. But this is all good because now you're free. When you were traditionally monogamously married, even if you were cheating while you were married, because a lot of you guys do and have, you were not free, but now you're free. You've got to remember this. Now you can wake up every morning and do whatever you want with your life because the goddamn wife isn't laying there next to you barking orders at you, right? You can go do whatever you want now, can't you? You've got to focus on that. And because you are free, you can now accomplish things in your life that you were never able to accomplish before when you were saddled with the monogamous ball and chain, and you can get to those results much more quickly. See, I knew this. I didn't despair when these things happened. Now, I wasn't happy when these things happened. I'm not painting too rosy a picture here, but I didn't despair and go, oh, I feel so bad. I got to start all over and look at guys my age who make more money than me because they never got divorced. I never had those feelings. You know why? Because I pitied men who were still married. I was like, oh my God, they're still in the prison and I'm escaped from the prison. I'm a free man. This is great. I was excited to be free. And I know that I could pull these things off even better than I did when I was married because I accomplished a decent amount before I got married in my early 20s. And I knew now that I'm no longer married and no longer saddled with that baggage, I can accomplish my goals faster and have more fun doing it because I'm free. And also, if you know my history, by 2009, I was a guru level dating expert in the pickup artist world. My name was Black Dragon back then. And I was getting laid like you would not believe. It was fucking fantastic. And this is not sugar daddy game. This is normal game. And this is including women as young as 18 when I was 38, 39 years old. I had a ball of a time in my sex life in 2008 and 2009 when this stuff was going on. Not so much 2007. I'm still trying to figure it out in 2007. But 2008, 2009, 2010, these were great years for me sexually. And that really helped. So the other thing I would throw out to you is, and I say this to all divorced guys or guys starting over, make sure you're getting laid. Don't do this monk mode bullshit. Make sure you're getting laid. Do not date. So let me say that really quick. I've said this before. If you are now going through a divorce and it's been less than a year since you've been divorced, no dating, no girlfriends, no MLTRs, only FBs. But have FBs. Have one or two. Get some cute girls and get laid. It's not as hard as you think. You're an older man, which means you have higher SMV, to use my favorite phrase that I hate so much. You have higher SMV as an older guy than a younger guy when you're a man. Your SMV goes up when you age as a man to a point, and then it starts dropping again. But if you're in your 30s or 40s and even early 50s, your SMV is higher than those dudes in their 20s and early 30s. Are you kidding? So use that to your advantage. I have a lot of resources for older men and dating skills. Go to calebjones.com and click books or courses at the top of the page, and I have all kinds of resources for you. So don't forget about that either. Again, that's something you couldn't do when you were fucking married, could you? Could you go fuck that hot 18-year-old girl who lived next door to you when you were married? No, you couldn't. But now you can you? Well, I don't want to fuck 18-year-olds, Caleb. Okay, great. Well, whoever you want to fuck. The hot 27-year-old secretary. Whatever. Now you can do those things, right? Go do them. Don't sit there in despair and say boo-hoo. Go do those things. Get laid while you build or rebuild your business infrastructure. Which brings me to my next point. Now you have your freedom of schedule. Even if you have kids, and I had kids, you now have the freedom to work as hard as you want to work. Don't you? You don't have the wife who is like blowing up your phone at 5:30 or 6 saying, where are you? You got it home. Help me with the kids. You don't have that anymore, do you? You can now work all day and all night, which is what I did when I got divorced. I was so excited and so happy to get that shit done. Now, that preassumes that you have goals, that you ideally have a mission, or if you don't have a mission, you at least have a vision. And a vision is a 1 or 2 page document of a description of what your life would look like if everything was perfect within 3 to 5 years. Your income, your physical fitness, where you live, your health, the women in your life, what your relationship life looks like, your relationship with your kids if you have them, all that stuff. You write all that out. That assumes you have these things because I had all those things. And so I was very excited to work and get that stuff done and have a free schedule, which I hadn't had in 9 years. I was so happy. Now, let's flip this. Let's say you haven't gotten divorced. Let's say that's not your issue. Your issue is you had a business and you went out of business. You got hit by coronavirus and now you're fucked. So I have some buddies, and boy, I don't even like talking about it because it makes me feel bad for these guys. One guy in particular I'm thinking of who's just a great guy, just the sweetest, nicest guy in the world, very accomplished businessman, hell of a guy. He last year or year before last, in 2019, he had a thriving, growing travel agency. International travel agency. He had 42 employees, not Alpha 2.0, so because he had employees, but very successful, happy guy, great guy. And within 3 months of March of last year, his entire business got wiped out. It's bad. So I think of guys like that. Maybe you're in that category. Maybe you had a thriving business and now it's gone. If not for COVID, for some other reason. Or maybe you went through a divorce and you're happy to be divorced, but she really did ass rape you. And now you've lost your house. You've lost your retirement. You've lost your company. Or you've lost half of your business, half the stock in your business. I've seen guys go through that. All kinds of other factors where now you have to start over financially. Or maybe you had a job and you got fired from your job or laid off from your job or whatever, and you're sad you can't get the job. Or maybe you ran into some kind of health problem. You ran into some kind of health problem and now you can't work. So it murdered your career. I've seen that once or twice. Something like that, where it's not a divorce, but it's a financial catastrophe that sets you back many, many years. How do you do that? How do you handle that? How do you recover from that? Well, a few things. Number one, you have to remember something, and this is something guys forget. Here is the statement you have to repeat to yourself over and over again. I did it once, so I can do it again. I did it once, so I can do it again. So if you built a business, a thriving business, 7-figure business, 8-figure business, whatever it was for you, the 6-figure income, whatever it was, okay? You did that once, you can do it again. And I'm going to add a piece to that that's even better. You did it once, therefore, when you do it again, it's going to be faster. You will do it faster the second time. The biggest problem with these young guys starting this Alpha 2.0 businesses, the biggest problem they face is an emotional problem because they've never done it before. And they're scared. Well, what if this, Caleb? But what if that? What if this? And what if that? I've done YouTube videos on this. These young guys are just terrified to start their own businesses because what if this? Because they've never done it. It's an emotional hurdle they have to overcome. You don't have that problem. If you're an older guy who has accomplished something in your financial life and now you've lost it all, guess what? Not only can you do it again, when you do it again, it's going to happen much more quickly. It's going to happen in less than half the time because you know exactly what needs to be done. I have talked about the statistics where 84% of all businesses go out of business within 5 years, blah, 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 blah. But I have also said the inverse statistic, which is also true, is that if you have already started a successful company and you start a second business, that ratio is flipped. there's an 84% chance you'll be successful and only a small chance that that second business will fail. Why? Because you know exactly how to do it. I talk about this when I talk about Alpha 2.0 business structures. You ideally want a long term, you want 2 to 4 different companies in different industries, all spinning off money every year. When you start that first business, it's hard because you've never done it before. But when you start that second business, once the first business is up and making some money, you will be shocked at how much faster you make money on that second business. And you can start your third business, which I did. That third business, you'll be making money in just a few months. You will be shocked at how fast you can make money once you already have made money before. So just because you've lost it all doesn't mean shit. You can get it all back and get it all back very quickly. I have said before, and I'll say this again, within a few years, and I don't remember the exact number of years, one of these days I should go back in my records and figure this out. I made back all the money I lost in the 2008 recession, losing all those clients and business, and during all the alimony and child support I had to pay in my divorce and all the divorce costs, all that money from all those catastrophes during that 2-year period of my life. If you add up that amount of money, I made that all back within a very short period of time. I want to say, let's see, that took 2 years to happen. So an additional 2 years after that, I think. So a grand total of 4 years, but it's really 2 years because you can't really include the years it was happening. I want to say it was 2 years. Now, it might have been three, but that's not long, is it? And many of you are in positions where you can make it back much faster than I did. You can make it all back in a year. I've seen guys do this. I've seen guys turn shit around in a year. All right, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 3. So however you're feeling now about, oh my God, I got to start over again, this is so terrible. In 3 years, or less, you're going to be far better off than you were at the height of when you were doing well. I will, again, to use myself as an example, I am light years financially, sexually, and with my physical fitness and physical health, all three of those areas, I am light years beyond where I was at the peak of where I was before I was 35. And I was decently successful back then. I was a young guy making a 6-figure income. I lived in a nice neighborhood and all that good stuff. I mean, I was doing pretty well. I am light years beyond that guy. And again, in all three categories. Financially, in terms of my income, my businesses, my investments. Sexually, in terms of my typical sex life in a typical 2-week period of my life. You can't even fucking compare where I am today to where I was. And then with my health, I am much more healthy today than I was prior to age 35. I am much more healthy as a man who's almost 50 than I was in my early 30s. I mean, it's, again, no comparison. No comparison. And I had to, quote, start over myself. But that was a long time ago. That was, how long ago was 2007? What, that's 14 years ago? So yeah, I've been living this lifestyle for 14 years now. And this isn't a new thing, this new status of being. This didn't just happen a year ago. I've been living this way for many, 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 many years. I've been location dependent for many, 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 many years. I've been having sex with multiple attractive women for many, 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 many years, going back to 2008. So this isn't anything new. And that's the kind of thing you can pull off because you already know how to do it. That's how you should feel about your peers who are doing better than you because they never had to start over. You do these things correctly. You do what you know how to do. And you put your nose to the grindstone, put your head down and hit this hard for 1, 2, 3 years. You will be light years beyond those guys. And how do I know that? That's me. I am light years, not only beyond where I was prior to me having started over as an older guy, but I am also light years beyond my peers. Guys who, when I was in my early to late 30s, I looked at other guys in their early to late 30s, and I was kind of jealous because they had more money than I did. They lived in fancier houses than I did. Their incomes were higher. They had a really pretty girlfriend or whatever, a really pretty wife or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's not fair. Dude, those guys are ants compared to me now. Again, in all three levels, financially, sexually, and in many cases, health, because some of those guys are now fat asses. While I've been losing weight, they've been gaining weight because they're in beta male traditional monogamous relationships. There you go. Now, let me address women. So let's say you had a breakup or divorce and you're, 20 years out of practice. I talked to a lot of guys in this scenario. You were married for, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. You haven't had sex with anyone other than your wife during that time. You're way out of practice. Man, that was me. When I was 35 years old, that was me. I had not had sex with any other women because I didn't cheat when I was married. I was faithful, unfortunately. I wanted to cheat, but I didn't. I was a good little boy. And for 9 years, or 9.5 or whatever it is, I hadn't had sex with any other women except my ex-wife. And so I went out in the dating world not knowing what the fuck I was doing. I've written about this a lot. And you know the end of the story. Within a year, not even within a year, later that year, so this was February of 2007, by the end of that year, I was having sex with women who were attractive. They weren't gorgeous, but they were cute. And add another year to that, so by the end of 2008, I was having sex with women who were really hot. And younger women as young as 18. That was 2008. Hell yes. And that just ramped up to crazy levels, 2009, 2010, and so on. But yes, I went through a transitional period. I've talked about this. The very first time I had sex with a woman post my divorce, way back in 2007, I couldn't get hard. My dick was as soft as oatmeal, and it did not work. I'm like, come on, wake up. And this woman was attractive. She was blonde. She had big tits, exactly what daddy likes. I'm like, what the fuck? This is exactly what you wanted. What the hell? And I'm slapping my own dick. Wake up, dumbass. Nope, nothing. I had to have sex with her 2 or 3 times for it to come back. But you know what? It came back. And from then on, I've been fine. And you may go through things like that, and that's okay. It's a temporary transition you have to make. I've written about this extensively in my blogs and in my books. I made all kinds of stupid mistakes. When I started doing online dating way back in 2007, I was an idiot. I would write, messages to women on the dating sites that were like pages and pages long. And I would start communicating with them over email. And I was such a beta, or in some cases, experimenting. I was a total asshole. I was just a total prick. And just making fun of these women and having women call me like cocksucker and fuck off, you prick. And because I didn't know what I was doing. Yes, I would have experiences where I would drive for like, an hour and a half out to a first date. And she just wouldn't show up. And I had to drive an hour and a half home, feeling like shit all the way home. I went through all that stuff because I didn't know what I was doing. You don't have that excuse. You have me. You have my resources. You have pickup artist resources. You have other red pill resources in terms of dating and relationships. I didn't have any of those resources back in 2000. Well, that's not true. I had a little bit. I poked around some pickup artist stuff. I had those. But beyond that, I didn't have someone walking me through this process, so you don't have that excuse. You know what to do. You can read the articles, watch the YouTube videos, buy the books, buy the courses. You can do those things. And I'm going to repeat this. As an older man, you have more confidence than a younger man. You might even maybe have a little more outcome independence. That's not necessarily true with older guys, but it can be. And you have more SMV as an older guy. Use this to your advantage. I talk about this when guys talk about, hey, should I lie about my age? No, you should tell the truth about your age and use that as a DHV, a demonstration of higher value. It's a pickup artist term. Use that as a value offering. I say, you're goddamn right, I'm 49. Thank God I'm 49. I'd hate to be in my 20s. Be one of those kids in their 20s? Fuck that. Being 49 kicks ass. And it's true, it does when you're a dude. It's great. That's what I'm talking about. You're in a better position now than you ever were before as an older man to improve your business life and to improve your woman life. So if you're feeling sad about this, you're looking at this completely ass backwards. You're looking at this completely wrong. You are far better off than that poor bastard who's 23 years old, who's jerking off the porn all day and playing video games. And you tell him to go out there and get laid, he just kind of shrugs at you and jerks off the porn. And you tell him to start a location-dependent business, and he gives you a bunch of what-if scenarios that'll never happen. You're far better off than that dude if you have to start all over at age 35, age 45, age 55, even age 60. You're far better off that guy. You've got so much more mental resources than that guy, so much more confidence, and you know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, you know where to get the information very, very quickly. So don't feel bad. Don't do it. You're fine. Come back check back in 3 years. I think you'll be very surprised where you are in 3 years from now, maybe even 2 years. Again, both sexually and financially, depending on your scenario, I think you'll be fine. What I will do for a future podcast very soon is I will reverse this, and I'll do one aimed toward younger guys to balance this out a little bit, because I know I'm going to get guys saying, why are you talking to older guys? Why don't you talk to younger guys? Every time I talk to one segment, the other segment complains. So I will do if you're under the age of 35 and this stuff doesn't apply to you yet, then I will do a podcast for you coming very shortly. Cool? Cool. All right. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.